Hello, guys. This is Shar. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for returning. I know y'all like, what? She on in the daytime, early in the day? What's going on? Well, you know what? I'm sitting here. I'm actually at work, but I was just scanning the YouTube streets, and Love and Marriage Huntsville is back on, so I'm gonna start back watching Carlos King on Monday nights and all that, because he does the recap, and then he's always having people on the show so we could talk about what they're talking about. When Love and Marriage Huntsville was not on, I was not watching them pretty much. But now that they're back on, and that he may have, different personalities from the show on here and there. And this past week he had Kimmie. I missed it originally, but as I stated, when I was scanning YouTube, I saw she was on there. So I will probably, I'm thinking, because I haven't watched it all, because like I said, I'm at work. But, okay, I'm probably going to watch it all just to see what all she had to say. But I just happened to catch this little part. This was at the beginning. A lot of you probably already heard it or seen it or whatever the case may be. But look, I was just thinking when she said this little part. Now, and I'm going to play the little short audio. Hopefully they don't copyright. Carlos King and them, they real touchy about this now. You know what I mean? But anyway, they asked her, or at least Carlos King asked her, well, he said that someone in the chat asked Kimmie if she was going to invite Nell to Thanksgiving dinner. And she was like, no. She has her own family. She has her own family to entertain and do Thanksgiving with, which is true. But she quickly followed it up with shade. And she was like, let her be with her family. She do Thanksgiving with her family, the ones who love and hug on her and can tolerate all that hollering. Kimmie, really? Really, Kimmie? And after my review that I did on last week's episode of Love and Marriage, I was like, wait a minute, Kimmie, you got triggered by Nell hollering, which I didn't feel like she was hollering, to be honest. And it might be because I have a loud voice. I don't know. I didn't feel like she was yelling. Now, she might have been talking a little bit louder than others, but to me, it wasn't yelling. To me, I felt like Kimmie yelled at her when she told Nell not to yell at her. To be honest, I feel like Kimmie was the loudest. However, they were all gaslighting Nell, like, you the only one yelling, you the only one was yelling, whatever. But the thing is that Kimmie, all of a sudden, you are revealing, I guess, that you are triggered because your daddy used to beat your mama, and when he get drunk, he start yelling and beating on her or whatever. Lightweight, okay? I'm not making no shade about that. I don't know. I guess it's true. God bless that her mother made it through, okay? And I know she loves her mother. I ain't talking about that. All I'm saying is, how in the hell have you not been triggered really since you've been on the show? Let's start at second season, when everything started falling apart between Martell and Melody Holt. Who was yelling more than Martell the last 4 or 5 seasons? Martell was constantly yelling at the top of his lungs when he was always crashing out, when he realized how bad he had effed up when Mel actually went ahead and got a divorce and divorced his A. He has had major arguments. Mel and Martell have had major arguments in front of the whole crew, yelling and screaming. Kimmie has been present at when Stormy and Destiny got into it. They were yelling. Kimmie was present when Tisha and Mel got into it a couple of times. But that day that Tisha came, looked like she was ready to fight. I think it was called Galentine's. When Tisha was looking like she was ready to fight, they was yelling and screaming that day. Kimmie has been present when Destiny wanted to fight, or was getting crunk rather, with Tiffany a long time ago, when Tiffany first came on the show and was like, saying that Destiny, she thought Destiny was this woman that her ex-husband brought to some event and it wasn't found out it wasn't her or whatever that mess was about. Remember that? That was a little brief yelling match before Destiny got up and went to the bathroom. It is so many times that people was yelling. They yell on the reunion stage, especially Tisha, because she got a loud mouth. So how the hell is it that all of a sudden now Kimmie is triggered? You just started getting triggered? Like, did the trigger, was it a delayed trigger? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's really going on, Kimmie? Like, why did you decide to bring this narrative? Is this like a narrative that she felt like she needed to bring because she's a snooze fest every season? You know, the producers usually get in certain people's ear and be like, you know, you're going to have to boost it up. You're going to have to do this and do that. Maybe this is her way of being a little bit more saucy and a little bit more flyery this season because she was basically a snooze fest. You know, producers and Carlos King got into Tisha's ear a long time ago and told her, you need to step it up. You too plain, you too boring. You know what I mean? You're too beautiful, too smart to just be this complacent and not really standing up for yourself, especially with the girls. You know what I mean? Step it up. And she did that. And she running wild with it. Somebody has told Kimmie that too. What do y'all think? Drop down in the comments. Let me know what you think. After the audio, that'll be it for this video. Like it, subscribe. Please hit your notifications because y'all never know when I'm coming out with something because I never know, okay? Thank you so much for taking the time to listen. And until next time, guys, ciao.
Countertop full of let's get ready because from here on out, it's good time.
Yep. Somebody asked, is Nell invited for Thanksgiving this year?
No, I'm not invited Nell to Thanksgiving. She has her own family Thanksgiving. So no.
She getting ready for that. What you telling Kimmie? You was getting ready for this. you
No, Thanksgiving with her family. You know, the ones that love and hug on her and, you know, can tolerate all that. So no. We've never done Thanksgiving together. This won't be the